Well, the trusty steed's packed once again. We're sitting here at a place called Bambuka, which is just below Brown Mountain, and I'm on my way up to the Perisher Valley, Kosciuszko, Snowy Mountains, for an overnight camp. Bambuka is just a little country town, and that's the Catholic Church. So I'm paying homage, not to the church, well, not to the Catholics, but to the Church of Latter-day Motorcyclists. So we are doing an overnight camp, just one night, and the plan is to camp up in the national park, Kosciuszko National Park, and from there I want to do 2 walks, one to Porcupine Rock, which is about 8k or 7k walk, and the other one is to Blue Lake, which is about 3k walk. Just some pretty easy ones, because that's all I'm up to these days. Used to do big walks years ago, but not anymore. Not interested. It just becomes hard work. Anyway, so I've bought myself a new macro lens. So I'm going to test that out. There should be some flowers and things, bits and pieces to take some macro photography of. Up at the top of Kosciuszko. Now, looking out here over this Bambuka Valley, just out of Bega, you can see it's nice and green, it looks lush. And this is first week of February, so it's still the middle of summer. We've had a perfect summer down here this year. It hasn't been hot at all. I think 30 degrees is the most we've got, whilst the rest of the state's up into the 40s. This southeast corner of New South Wales has got to be the best place to live when you look at global warming. That's if you believe in that. Regardless of whether you do or not, it's just a temperate place to live. So, off we go. Let's head up the mountains. Well, we're on the banks of the Snowy River at Delegate. Nice spot. Arrived at the trailhead that goes to Rainbow Lake. So let's go and have a look at Rainbow Lake. I've been there once before, not for about 10 years, and it's worth the walk. No camping, no swimming, no bikes, yeah, all that stuff. Now I've got my other camera with my macro lens. It's nice to be back up in the mountains again, in this vegetation, snow gums and the heathlands and the grasses. Beautiful. March flies are about, of course. You can be able to hear them. But they don't seem to be as aggressive this time of year, which is good. Well, that was a good little walk. We didn't walk too far, have to walk too far. I think it's 2.7 k's. And we've just arrived at Rainbow Lake. This is a man-made lake. But looks pretty natural. A lot of the little lakes like this down in Tasmania, of course they call them tarns down there. They're natural forming from glaciers, but I think there might be one or two up here in the Snowy Mountains caused by glaciers. I think there's a blue lake that was caused by a glacier, but this one isn't. It's man-made, but it's still beautiful. And it's probably been here for about 70 years, so it looks almost natural. I'll go with that anyway. Don't know if it's got any trout in it. Quite likely. But I'm not here fishing. I'm just here on a walk and enjoying the scenery this time of year. That's my new macro lens. 105mm, which means I don't have to get too close for the macro to work. Now I'm over water here, so probably pay to put the strap over my neck. Lenses are not cheap. Now let's get a little photo of some of these lilies here. They look very interesting. Beautiful. Set my composition up. I'm going to get wet knees, but so what? Off to Porcupine Rocks. It's 22 degrees here today and it's 35 in Sydney. So I know where I'd prefer to be. It is a little bit windy, but you know, you get that up here on these exposed tablelands. So this is the track. It's a nice sunny day, even though it is a bit windy, and it's looks like summer even up here in the mountains. So off we go, Porcupine Rock. That's the main range out there in all its glory. And this is Echidna Rock, or rocks, the main section of it. And there's a view just over the hill, so we'll go and have a look at that. And a pretty spectacular view at that. So let's go and have a look at it, see what we can see. You mightn't be able to see it on camera, but down the bottom of the valley there's a ski resort, and the lifts come up this way. Track gets a bit dodgy here, not sure where to go. Bit of rock hopping. That's Lake Jindabyne down there in the distance. And right out there, very hard to see, but there's a thin line of cloud. That's Nimidabel and where the tablelands drop down to the coast. And there's quite often a thin line of cloud along there because that's where the dry air from the west meets the more moist air from the east, which is, as you can see earlier in the video, it's nice and green along the coast, and probably about 70% humidity today, but not up here. It's cool and dry. So, well worth the walk to Echidna Rocks. 2.7k, 5.4k return. And that's far enough for an old codger.